What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Crying in Baseball. How you doing,
Good. How are
Ashton?
you, Logan?
I'm good. Big news just broke: Liam Hendriks to the Sox on a 4-year deal or a 3-year deal with a club option. Ashton, give me your first
My
thoughts.
first thoughts, it's honestly a really good signing. This is a team that we saw in that last game against the A's in the playoffs. It seemed like their bullpen was a bit short. Obviously, there was some injuries like Crochet getting hurt, but getting an elite guy like Hendricks really it changes the whole dynamic of a team, knowing that you can go into potentially those last two innings and feel comfortable with the lead.
Oh yeah, it's kind of huge. I mean, the White Sox, the White Sox were beat by Liam Hendriks twice in the playoffs, or really once in the final game. But he pitched in game 2 and 3. And that he was the last pitcher the White Sox saw, and now he's going to be on the roster. I mean, as a White Sox fan, this is huge. I am excited. I mean, you look at his stats. I mean, in the 60-game season, obviously, it's a 60-game season, but a 1.78 ERA. I mean, 3-1 record. I mean, this is an all-star caliber pitcher they are adding to a bullpen, putting aside the playoffs, a fairly solid bullpen with Aaron Bummer, Jace Fry. I mean, this is huge.
Yeah, as a Cubs fan, this is a bit frustrating. Obviously, the White Sox getting this level of player, but the fact that the Cubs gave more money to Craig Kimbrell, who's coming off a rough playoff run, and then obviously he's not done well, it's a bit frustrating. And Liam Hendriks is clearly I'd argue top 5 reliever in baseball. A lot of people might even have him at 1. This is a dude. Once again, it was a 60 and
The shredder put him at number 1. MLB Network's little ranking system, they put him as the best reliever in baseball like yesterday.
Yeah, that's 100% fair. Like, once again, it was a 60-game season, but this is a guy that got Cy Young and MVP votes. Like, yeah, especially in a 60-game season, pitching 25 innings, like relievers, and that's why I believe the Rays made the World Series, is especially in that smaller season, relievers are super valuable.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he's just seems to be lights out. It really seems like, and I just this is so big as a White Sox fan, but it disappoints me a little bit that I really liked Colome, and unless we find some weird way to move him back where he's comfortable in an 8th-inning role instead, Colome's gone.
Yeah, but obviously Hendricks is an improvement, an upgrade.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's an upgrade,
Yeah, and that's not
100%.
saying that's not to Colome's discredit. It's Liam Hendriks is one of baseball's elite relievers. Uh, Obviously, the Oakland has always had like a really solid bullpen, so like he might think he could be a byproduct of Oakland's coaching, which it probably
Mm-hmm.
is, but that doesn't mean he's going to be worse as a White Sox.
Yeah, I uh, I have very very high expectations right now. Um, where where do you think Colome will go now?
Colome, honestly, he could end up on the A's. Obviously, they have a bit of a hole in that back end of the bullpen now. They're a team
Mm-hmm.
that still has a solid bullpen, but Colome would be a solid fit there. There's still a good amount of relievers left, so I don't think like Hendricks was the guy left on the market. So I think we'll see the other relievers kind of spread around.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at the remaining relievers right now, and I mean I see solid names. I see Brad Hand. I see Roberto Osuna. I see Ken Giles. Uh, I mean there's still a lot of names out there, but Hendricks was really that it guy to get.
Yeah, and this is what happens when you let Rickon do his job, and yeah, and
Oh yeah.
that's why kind of going deeper into the White Sox. I think that manager hiring was awful, considering that like Rick Hahn had everything in place where that they might have gotten AJ Hinch as the manager, and then you
Hmm.
know ownership steps in, and it's kind of tough. But obviously, I still think the White Sox are going to be a successful team.
Yeah, I mean Rick Hahn, give all the credit to that man. He in I think back to I think it was Winter Meetings 2014 when he made a lot of moves to get Melky Cabrera, to get Todd Frazier, to bring in a lot of good pieces, and that didn't pan out as we can tell. But I mean, he has done a
Uh,
stellar job really bringing in pieces.
uh, yeah. Question for you now: does this
Oh,
Liam
please.
Hendriks signing take the White Sox out of contention for Bauer?
Yes. Um, I would say it does. I would say that the White Sox never were a true contender for Bauer. But to kind of bounce off of that, I'll get back to Bauer in a second. I really think that they're in contention for Kluber. Uh, I think that Kluber would be a good piece for them. They are going to Kluber's workout soon, and they're going to watch him. They're going to see how he's going to do. I mean, I'm thinking a 3-year deal for Kluber. Give him 22 million. Give him 8 million a year coming off eight or so million a year coming off of an injury season. But yeah, this takes Bauer out of the picture for Chicago, and I think that that's okay. I really do. I think Bauer is a phenomenal pitcher, just a great piece to have. He's the one who has his own YouTube channel, who is always active on Twitter. That this man is out there. He's a character, and he would have fit in well with the White Sox. I think him and La Russa, they praying to God they got off on the right foot, but they I felt like they would have meshed well with their both extreme competitive attitude. I think him and Tim Anderson have had some fun banter in the past. I think that Bauer would have been a great signing, but I am okay not signing him if we get Hendricks and possibly
See,
Kluber
personally,
back.
I'm a believer of him and La Russa would not have gotten well at all together. I think they're both very different kind of personality. But I'm also a believer that the White Sox might not even need to get another pitcher for the rotation because obviously you have Giolito, you have Keuchel who exceeded my
Hmm.
expectations last year.
Yeah.
You trade for Lance Lynn.
Hmm.
Uh, if Michael Kopech is everything that everyone seems like, if he meets his potential, that is your top four by itself is awesome. And then Garrett Crochet,
Oh yeah.
although he was in the bullpen last year, he was drafted as a starter, so there's potential for that. And then you still have Dylan Chief. So I feel like those last two spots, you have enough young guys there where I don't even yeah they
That's
can
very true.
compete for that last spot, and I don't think they necessarily need to bring in another big name. And if they do sign a free agent starter, I feel like at this point it'll be one of the more veteran guys on a 1 year deal.
Yeah, I mean, in all honesty, I could see them bringing back Quintana for a year just to kind of try and ease Kopech back in or something like that. But I I mean, you look at the White Sox. I mean, you're right. They really do. It's kind of my dreamy White Sox mind going in for Kluber. That's kind of unrealistic, but a man can dream. But you think about all the prospects they've compiled, and most of them have panned out so far. Moncada isn't what we thought him up to be, but he's still a solid everyday player. The only name I can really think of that hasn't lived up to at least some sort of the expectations has been Ronaldo Lopez. I think that he very well, with Lance Lynn now, I think he very well might be moved into the bullpen. Um, or just I'm not really sure what's going to happen with him because I mean once Kopech's back or if they pick up Quintana, they want Cease in that rotation. Cease had an okay year this year. They're going to try and like pull a Giolito with him where he gets just better and better. He has like really not good years, but then just like skyrockets up. Um, there's just there's just no room for Lopez in my
But
mind.
yeah, I agree. Lopez genuinely has been one of the worst starters in baseball over the past couple of years, and that's not to say he still doesn't have potential. I just don't see him fitting in to at least a Sox rotation. Maybe he can move on to a worse team and try to improve in a team that has no stress on it, like no expectations. But if the White Sox do want to hold on to him, he's going to have to move to the bullpen. I think a key for the White
Yeah.
Sox success moving forward is obviously uh, Luis Robert. He started off really hot, then he tailed off towards the end of the season. They need more consistent play from him. Uh, I I think
Yeah.
losing James McCann is a bigger blow than people think. Uh, yeah, I think
Oh
Zach
yeah,
Collins is
definitely.
the guy that they probably see replacing him. He's kind of been maybe not a top prospect for them, but he has been a solid catching prospect for them for a minute now. In terms of the
Hmm.
infield, obviously you kind of know what you're getting from Abreu and Anderson. Maybe not that same MVP level from Abreu. Uh, Nick Madrigal's
Hmm.
not going to be a power hitter, but he's a very talented
Oh,
hitter. And I also think if they can't get like a DH like working this year, that you might see Andrew Vaughn called up.
I mean, I would not be opposed to that because I mean their DH spot isn't there, um, because of Mazzara leaving and
Well, and
McCann
Edwin
leaving too.
Encarnacion.
I, yeah, Edwin was a huge disappointment this year. Just huge. But I mean this production, we're if anything we're going to be gaining production from whoever goes into that DH spot, and that's what I think really matters. Is like the White Sox are in win now mode. They're not in build for the future. They're like, all right, you know what? Let's call up Andrew Vaughn right now. Let's get him some major league at bats. We might not make the World Series this year, but maybe in 3 years from now he'll be a fully formed player ready to hit bombs in the World Series. Like this right now seems like I'm not sure, like the final stage before a big push for
Yeah,
the World
honestly,
Series.
I see the AL Central as one of the least competitive divisions in baseball. Obviously, we talked
Oh
about
yeah,
the Indians and
oh yeah.
Twins. I think the Twins haven't done much. The Indians have gotten worse. The Royals and Orioles both kind of, or not the Orioles, yeah, Tigers kind of
Tigers.
exceeded what people thought they would do last year. But in a full season, I don't see either one of them doing much. So I don't think there's any chance that the Sox really lose this division, but it's really how they match up against the other teams uh, in the AL, which I think they match up against any of those teams fairly well. But the question is when they go up inevitably, probably against the Dodgers or Padres in the World Series. I don't know if their pitching is as deep as either one of those teams.
Yeah, that's in my mind as a White Sox fan right now. I'm not worried about winning the World Series. I'm worried about winning the division and having a deep playoff run. And I mean, that division is ours to lose at this point. You look at the Twins, who are possibly losing Nelson Cruz, who have lost bullpen pieces, who have lost, Trevor May, maybe losing Jake Odorizzi, and you see the Indians trading away Lindor, and they traded away Clevenger before. Like this truly is our division to lose at this point. And I look at the other teams in the American League right now. Hot take, I don't think the Rays will be good as they were this year. I think this 60-game season benefited them incredibly, and I think that the Rays are a great baseball team, but trading away Blake Snell, losing Charlie Morton, I feel like they won't necessarily be the 2020 Rays that some people are expecting them to be. And I see the Yankees, and I'm intrigued by them. I think they'll probably win the East. But beyond that, the Astros are losing two prime outfielders. The A's have lost their best reliever, possibly the best reliever in baseball. But if besides the Yankees, the White Sox and Yankees are the two top dogs in the AL right now.
Oh yeah, for sure. I might also include the Blue Jays if they do sign either one of those.
Yes.
Maybe Bauer, maybe Springer, maybe LeMahieu, one of them.
I I'm not sure. I'm a big fan of Kluber. I could see Kluber going to the Blue Jays. I think that also make a
Yeah,
lot of sense.
I think really what we're seeing is that in the AL we're really seeing these younger teams make a push, and we're seeing those teams that
Hmm.
dominated for a while, like the Red Sox and Astros, kind of fall back.
Yeah, and I really think that you know it's just kind of the times changing. The upcoming teams. I feel like the Yankees are always going to kind of be there, but I mean the upcoming teams really are. The Mariners are working their way up, and the West is kind of open this next year. If Kyle Lewis continues his incredible production as a rookie, and they get a piece here, or a solid, amazing, not amazing, but like a solid veteran pitcher here, like I would not be surprised if they win the division with 90 wins flat or something like that. But this the in the future, it's the Mariners, the White Sox, the Blue Jays, the Orioles, and these teams like the Red Sox and the Astros. The Athletics will always be competitive somehow, some way. But this is really, I feel like, the American League turning the page into the next chapter.
But yeah, especially when you see teams like the White Sox make a signing like this, clearly pushing for the postseason. Like, yeah, it kind of
Oh yeah.
shows where the AL is headed.
And I just realized I'm wearing a White Sox postseason 2020 sweatshirt, and I was watching when Liam Hendriks got that final strikeout in Game 3, and just I wasn't necessarily sad. I was like, okay, this is we are building for the future right now. This is good experience for people like Eloy. This is good experience for people like Dylan Cease. This is this I felt like it was the start. This was only the first of many
Yeah, at least you
postseason
guys didn't
games to
lose to
see.
the Marlins in 2 games.
Yeah, that is
Yeah, thanks.
pathetic. Not even
Yeah.
3 games, two. Something else. Do you have anything else? Any
No,
final
just to
thoughts,
reiterate, I
Ashton?
think this is a very smart signing for the White Sox. I think obviously Hendricks is happy.
Mm-hmm.
He's been rumored there for a
Yeah.
while, and I think there's a good signing.
I think it's a great signing. Well, we thank you for listening. This has been an episode of Crying in Baseball, a baseball podcast. We hope to
Peace.
see you next time. See ya.